morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. We got everybody here today. How's it going, guys?
I just want to say I'm doing
Not
well.
bad.
And I just want to say, Dustin, I love your Best Buy shirt that you have on today. Do you guys take military discounts?
It's not even Best Buy. I don't know where you got that from.
Best Buy is blue-collared shirts. I thought you.
Yeah, and you can't really read it, so
Yeah,
especially-
this is what it means to be in the playoffs today. The playoffs start today, so we got a playoff here today.
Dropping daggers. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. For the last 10 years, I've been in the playoffs, and this year I am beside myself. I'm going to root for Bo's team this year. So I don't know anything about that. It's not my bad.
You know, it's interesting. So let's talk about that for a half a second.
Sure.
Okay.
When my teams are not in the playoffs,
Yep.
I root for the fan base that I want to win.
Sure.
You know, I don't really have a team. When I don't have any skin in the game, I go for the fan bases. So, like, if I have a good buddy of mine who is a part of a fan base, you know, I typically am going to root for him rather than the team.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't typically root for division rivals, but I know Seattle has not seen a World Series. And so at least the World Series, even at that point. So I'd love to see you guys. I think you're one of the 6 teams that doesn't have a World Series. So it'd be good to see you guys get that World Series ring. So I think that's why I'm pulling for you, is because I think everybody else has kind of already had a taste of what it looks like to have a championship. So it'd be good. I think it's good for the city of Seattle. I mean, you guys have been through a lot, right? So
yeah, so I'm with you. Like, I'm not typically a vote for a rival fan, right? Like, but in that scenario, where if we had one where, like, if Arizona got in there, I'd low key be like, hey, you know, like when they went before to the Super Bowl, right? And I was just like, you know, it'd be cool if Larry Fitzgerald got a ring.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I was kind of like, you know what, that'd be all right. Even though you wouldn't want a division rival to hang a banner on you. Sometimes there's either, like Peg said, a fan base, or there's a player on that team that you're like, man, it'd be kind of cool to see that. But yeah, to your point, you know, we're one of the 6 teams that haven't won it. We're the only team that has never been. So, so it would be very cool. Obviously, we have to get out of the first series before we have.
And I think it really goes back to, like you said, about the fan base, right? Like, I know previously when Nintendo had bought the Mariners to keep the team mentality as a thank you gift to Seattle. I remember you talked about that story. And it's cool to see. And I know you guys don't have a lot of expectation for Seattle, like you had mentioned before. Like, they put a competitive product, but you felt like they never really gave you that World Series product. And it looked like this year they're doing that with Suarez edition, with the Naylor edition. Obviously, Kyle Raleigh's playing great. So I think, you know, it's good to see your fan base. Well, I know it's been through a lot. Like you said, you almost lost your team if it hadn't been for Nintendo. And for the fact that you guys can come back and get a World Series, I think it makes for a good story. It's a good storyline, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it would be obviously the Nintendo purchase was a long time ago now, but and they're not even the majority owner anymore. That being said, it would be cool to finally see something, especially because this is the first year they've actually done anything. Like, normally the trade deadline comes and goes and they don't do anything, and you're just like, oh, okay, like we're packing it in. But so for this year, they actually did things. They did stuff preseason. Right. They did stuff before the trade deadline. It was like, oh, you guys are actually taking winning seriously this year. And that's a new thing for the Mariners. It's not something they ever really do.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be a good, interesting postseason. I think you guys play the winner of the Guardians series, right? Guardians in Detroit.
Yeah, correct. Yep. Yeah. So probably the Guardians.
Well, especially with the momentum ride that they're on right now.
You're going to find out today, though. I think that if Detroit wins this first one, that they could upset the series.
I think Detroit gets today just because Scooble's going.
And I think that if Detroit wins, then you guys are going to the ALCS.
Yes,
Like,
I think we can. I think we beat Detroit. The Guardians that'll be a tough series if it goes that way.
Yeah, because you'd have to take both games at home.
Yep.
Like you could not trust that you're going to win a game over there in Cleveland.
No, exactly.
So I am interested because I'm trying to figure out, like, it's all right. Do the Reds really have a chance? Do they actually have a chance against the Dodgers? Because I'm trying to plan. It's so funny. I have an event that I'm doing on Friday, October 10th.
Okay.
But I would be going to the games in LA on the 8th and the 9th, which means that I would have to leave the stadium in face paint and go to the airport. Like, in face paint. I've not gone through security in face paint before.
I don't think you
And
can.
I don't know how they'll feel about it.
I don't
Well,
think
I think you
I'm
can.
not sure about that. So I would be able to kind of wipe this off. Like,
I was going to
usually
say
it's the facial recognition, which is this area right here.
Yeah.
Like what I've got blocked off. So I could wipe that off and see if that would work enough. But obviously I'd look like a fool because I'd be doing this, you know what I mean? But
Is that what
it would
you
get
guys
me
use
back
though
in
at
time
your
because that's
You guys use facial recognition at your
Again?
airport? You guys use
Lot of
facial
air-
recognition at your
A lot of
airport?
airports are going to that now.
Wow. As it hit Houston, yeah, we still do the
So,
standard
and-
show your driver license, but okay.
so if you are, that happens. But if you are TSA, it uses facial recognition.
Mhm.
And in this case here, I would need to be very particular about how I get, because I got to fit everything into a small bag at this point, like a small clear bag that I can bring into the stadium.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're lagging.
so I have to be very, very specific on what it is. Yeah, I know. Thank you, StreamYard, again.
I don't know. Everybody else is real time, so that
But,
one might actually be your signal.
No, because I'm right next to my thing here, so it's not my signal. But yeah, like I said, so everything's gonna have to go into
And so nice, dude.
a
Hey,
small bag,
He's eating a burger.
clear bag.
the birth canal opened up.
Because I can bring a clear
He has no
bag
idea
into
that we're messing with him.
baseball stadium.
He will in about 5 minutes.
And for $90, StreamYard can be yours.
And then it's who knew?
So, Bo, that comment that Rob made right there, have you heard if they're going to be moving the Seahawk games yet? Because I know they were already talking about
Yes.
changing the Seahawk kick times because baseball playoffs would take priority over the Seattle kickoff times on Sunday.
Yeah, so they already moved the game.
Okay.
So they already moved that particular game. Obviously, any of them moving forward depends on whether or not they move on. But yes, they are changing the game start time.
Okay.
Not that it's going to matter. Seattle will be a train wreck. But
Right.
What?
what's that?
Yeah, for Sunday, you guys got the home game and the
Yeah,
for
and the
Sunday you have a
Seahawks.
home game, and that's when.
Yep.
What time are they moving the Seahawks game to?
I gotta look because when they announced it just said to be determined. So
What time is the Mariners game?
I don't remember offhand.
They don't have that answer yet.
So it's they probably do have They probably do have a time for it. I just haven't seen it because when I looked at it yesterday, it still said to be determined as far as the Seahawks game. But I would imagine they have it. They have it out there. So
You're probably going to be a 7:00 start
Yeah.
for the baseball game because they do 10:00 starts for the first 2 series.
oh yeah,
So it would be a 10:00 start on the Eastern time here, which would make sense. And then they would move your game to a 1:00 start
Mhm.
for.
Or even, yeah, that'd be an early start for Seattle, 11 a.m. Seattle kick.
Yeah, they may try to do that, but they normally try to do it at 1 and 4. So thinking about it in those times, that's why I'm thinking it would be a 1:00 start there.
Yeah, but if it's so that'd be 4:00. Oh, okay, 4:00 East.
Right.
That'd be a normal start time for Seattle though, because normally Seattle games start at 4:00 Eastern time because they're West Coast. They normally do have the late slot anyways, so that really wouldn't be changing too much on that point. That's why I think it
Yeah,
might get
we
moved up
usually
early.
end up with we usually end up with an early slot, 10 a.m. our time, 1 p.m. yours. We usually end up with about 4 or 5 of those a game or a year. So
Right, but that's away games.
not always. Sometimes we'll have that early slot when we play like San Fran or the Rams. Sometimes we'll get a 10 a.m. game.
I could see you guys
Really?
playing.
Yeah.
I could see you guys maybe starting at like 2:00 Eastern time and have like just a random 11:00 start time, your time, where the game would start kind of in the middle of the 12:00 window and then right before the 3:00 window, just so everything is done before the Seattle game starts.
You see, and I think that if they're going to do that and they're used to doing a 10 a.m. start time, then they will do the 10 a.m.
Yeah.
They'll just move it to a 1:00 game Eastern time.
Yeah, that makes sense because that would be noon. That would be noon Central. That's typically what time our football games start here is at noon.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, because I
so-
wouldn't think that they do 10 a.m. start times at home like they do them on the road
Mm-hmm.
because you're on the road, and if you're on the East Coast and it's a 1:00 start, it's meant for that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, no, it's they do have some 10 a.m. just starts here on the West Coast.
well, then that's exactly what'll happen because they're going to want to have everybody cleared out.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's going to leave, the bars are going to do amazing that day.
God, yeah.
Oh, no question.
But
I mean, they do anyway. The weather's gonna suck, so like the bars are gonna be great.
So, do you think that they will close the roofs for these playoff games?
They will likely have to. So we're starting to get into the time of year where our weather is a little unpredictable. So we'll have like it's raining yesterday, today.
Yeah.
The next couple of days it's going to rain. But this is the time of year where we'll have like 45 and rain, and then the next day it'll be 70 and sunny. So like it's like you just don't know.
So here's another question for you, Bo.
What's that?
What's supposed to happen Saturday night? Because the Sounders are also supposed to play home Saturday night against the Portland Timbers.
Well, I mean,
if your first game is
Doesn't
Saturday,
doesn't affect it though because they're not in the same area.
yeah, they are. Sounders play at Lumen Field.
yeah. The
This is
two
right next
stadiums
to-
are next door to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably have to do something similar.
Because it
Right.
says the Sounders are supposed to start at 9:30. So that leads me to believe that you guys are going to have the afternoon slot Saturday if the Sounders are playing 9:30 Saturday night. So you would probably have the 3:00 game on Saturday. So that game would get done by 6. Then you'd have like the 2-hour, 3-hour window to switch everything over.
I
Yeah,
tell you,
that's gonna be
going
interesting.
to be very odd because they don't typically do that. MLB, when you are playing early, you stay in the early slot, and then when you're playing late, you stay in the late slot. Only because the team, like, they don't want to give an unfair advantage by saying,
Mhm.
okay, you're in the late slot and then you're playing an early game.
Mhm.
Like that's really like an
That's the
unfair
only
situation there.
The only reason I bring up that time though is because the Guardians and the Tigers are playing all early games in this first series. All their games are the noon slot for this first round. So then whoever advances goes to Seattle. That's why I think Seattle will get the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock window for the next round, because the Guardians and the Tigers will be the early slot this round, and then that makes it easier for scheduling, because then you can be like, oh, the Sounders play at 9:30. Seattle Mariners
but there's two early games. Like there's two, like the Phillies and
the Phillies will get the 5 o'clock.
Milwaukee is still Central Time. So,
so the Brewers and Cubs will most likely get the 5 o'clock game or the 4 o'clock game, because the Cubs and Padres play the 2 o'clock window for the first round. The Phillies
that's just for Saturday, because Saturday is not AL; it's only NL, correct?
And then when you get to the 4 games, the Dodgers are going to have the late window, I'm guessing, no matter what, against the Phillies.
Well, that's against the Phillies.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that we're not going to get that time slot.
Yeah.
My expectation is a little different there. So, and it'll depend a little bit, because Cleveland winning this is a smaller market than Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually plays here. They start to play with these times and things like that.
It's an away game for the Sounders.
No, it's not. I just pulled up their schedule. I literally just pulled up their schedule.
No, the Sounders. If you're what looks like the home slot in soccer, that's away.
Yeah, if you click on the Seattle Sounders game on October 4th against Portland, it says 9:30 p.m. Lumen Field, Seattle, Washington.
All right.
So you said Robert's coming in with that fake news. Robert, what's up with your fake news, man?
No, Robert, click on the actual game. Soccer is opposite of every sport. The left team in soccer or the above team in soccer is always the home team. Is the opposite for
home team's always first in soccer.
Yeah, they do that for rugby too.
Yeah, so if you actually click on the Sounders game and look at the game preview, it has it at Lumen Field, 9:30 on the 4th.
That's your TV guide moment right here.
You're going to have a busy time in Seattle this weekend, Bo.
Yeah, it'll definitely be busy.
Yeah, I'm not, because I don't have credentials to any of those. So I am keeping my happy ass out of Seattle.
Hey, wait. No, there's no. You're not gonna get no wings or broadcast or anything like that from anywhere.
Not from downtown Seattle.
I wouldn't go downtown Seattle either. That's gonna be a logistical nightmare.
Will I go get some wings and watch sports? I mean, yeah.
Not from Wild Wings.
Yeah, who knows?
Their wings suck.
Yeah, it definitely did when you were here, man. That was rough. I had
the new guy on the grill.
But
yeah, Paige.
Unless I end up with credentials for any of those games, I'm not going down there. That's a hassle I don't even want to deal with.
Paige, back to what you were saying a couple minutes ago about the chances that the Reds have against the Dodgers. I think they actually have a good chance, because I think the Dodgers are making a massive mistake right now.
What are they doing?
Starting Blake Snell in Game 1 over Yamamoto.
Gaia.
Blake Snell has not had the best history when it comes to postseason success. And the Reds are going with Hunter Green in Game 1, and then they're going with their lefties in Game 2 and 3, where the Dodgers always struggle against lefties. If I'm the Dodgers, I go Yamamoto in Game 1 and try to get Game 1, because if you fall behind 1-0, I don't think the Dodgers can beat Lodolo and Abbott back-to-back.
That's a good point.
Well, hey, listen, I'm all right with that, because I could drive to Cincinnati.
Yeah, you could. What is it, like 5 hours?
7.
7?
But it's like I could absolutely, after that game, I could drive home, because like I says, I have an event at a school. I'm actually speaking at a school on that Friday, so, and that's like, I go into both of those games is a thing. So I definitely want to make sure that I can do that.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, no offense to you, Dustin, but you are now in the loss category.
Hey. Yeah, I
because
know.
of your
Call
tie.
the tie. Yeah.
Another one
I know.
buys the and another one buys the.
I mean,
Frankie's in
Right.
the lost category, right? The Colts lost, right?
I've seen
yep,
a lot of piss poor clock management in the NFL, but the way the Packers handled that last possession in overtime, that was some of the worst clock management shit I have ever seen.
Good morning, Brad. Eagles suck.
uh,
I want to get that out of the way before Brad says it.
right. Yeah, that tie was just terrible.
Did you see the clock management like that last minute?
There was just a lot to not like about that game.
Like the clock
Yeah.
management from Jordan Love in that last 2 plays of the game was absolutely pathetic. You had 18 seconds left, and you let the clock run 12 seconds before you even snap the ball. So then you throw it and it's incomplete in the end zone. So now you have 1 second left, where you could have ran another 2 plays, possibly even a third play if you did it the right way.
Yeah, there's been a lot to be desired about things we've seen so far this year, as far as this being a professional league, and you expecting more.
It's still preseason, though. It is still preseason.
I mean, you're looking down at week 5. Like, it can't be preseason anymore.
Well, no, not anymore. Not anymore. This is the time.
Yeah, I mean, even last
Yeah.
week, like two games, I get 3 games maybe. Week 4, you should have had your shit figured out.
Like even Matt LaFleur kind of threw Jordan Love under the bus without throwing him under the bus. He's like, we had the play called with like 45 seconds left. The fact that he let 20 more seconds go before he even broke the huddle, he's either not understanding what I call or he's not understanding how to break the huddle on time. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, like the end of that was ridiculous because they could have easily had 2 shots before.
They could have had 3 because if a quick 1-step drop and throw takes 4 to 5 seconds, you have 18 seconds left on first down. You have 3 quick throws if you want it.
Yeah, but I mean,
Jordan Love did bad clock management.
Even if you're just going for it all, you figure those are 5-6 seconds apiece. If you're just going for it all from where they were, you still could have got a couple of plays off before you kicked that field goal. And I mean, they almost ran out of time anyway.
Yeah, the ball got. If I was Dallas and I thought about this, if I'm Dallas, I try to, instead of knocking it down like the Cowboy guy did, I try to tip it up in the air quick and then knock it down because that takes another 2 seconds off and the game's over.
Yeah, no, it was
because the Packer guy fell out of bounds. So it's not like if you tip it up in the air, he can't be the first one to touch it anyways because he's out of bounds. So you just let it tip up in the air and you just play defense and like box him out like a rebound and let it hit the ground.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you're taught in those scenarios to hit it to the ground so that it doesn't bounce to somebody else. But yeah, no, it was it was an ugly game. I mean, when there's 80 points.
Yeah, and there's no winner.
And of course it was a tie. But I mean, when there's 80 points, defenses obviously didn't do a lot, especially in the second half.
Yeah, defense was optional.
Yeah, well, and you expected that from Dallas.
Yeah,
like, they've shown us
that. There's no optional with Dallas. We just flat out don't have a defense. Yeah, that might be more applicable to the Green Bay side of life.
Yeah, no, it's you expected it out of Dallas. You didn't expect it out of Green Bay.
Yeah.
So, but hey, good on you guys. You got a tie. Yay!
Yay!
So Tyreek goes down.
That was ugly.
It was
so ugly.
He goes down for a long time.
Yeah. So, and sorry about it, Chad. Oops, wrong one. It messed up his fantasy. I bet there's a lot of fantasy teams that didn't benefit from that.
Initial reports have him missing obviously the rest of this season, and some reports even said 2026 is in jeopardy at this point. Like he's going to be.
Yeah, the way that leg went. I mean, does Tyreek even get back to the old Tyreek stuff? Because that looked pretty nasty.
That's the real speculation. Is he anything like he was if he comes back? And that's if he comes back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that looked. Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty gruesome looking. I mean, his leg twisted sideways was something else.
Even
Like,
even Nick Chubb don't look like Nick Chubb anymore. He looked like the
Yeah.
former version of himself.
and if
That's
you
what I
remember,
feel like for Tyreek, because Tyreek is all built on speed, right? You take
yeah.
away that man's speed, and he don't have anything left. He don't have height. He's not a great route runner. He's just super damn fast.
And if you thought, like, going back to last year when Tank Dell had a similar injury when he dove for that ball in the end zone in Kansas City, and I think his own player hit him, and he ended up like doing the same thing, dislocated his kneecap and all the ligaments. Tank Dell's not even in as bad a shape as Tyreek was last night. Like, Tank Dell might be able to play this year, which I don't think he will, because I don't think Houston's going to be in a position to play him this year. But at least he had a shot to come back this year versus Tyreek Hill. Like, that leg was bending in directions it's not supposed to bend.
Well, especially when you looked at where his foot was. You're just like, oh.
Yeah, when I saw that picture this morning, I realized, I was like, yeah, that's not coming back. And if it does, it ain't gonna be the same person.
Yeah, I mean, not likely, right? I mean, injuries like that is a good chance that you lose a step. He's going to have to try and find his way back, though. He has like 15 kids, so that's a lot of child support.
You know what I'm saying? That's a lot.
It's not too often that you haven't, like, unless it's like a head injury or a neck injury or whatever, it's not too often where you go to the ER for a leg injury during the game. So that going to the ER, it's pretty serious.
I mean, when they felt the need to cut his cleat off,
yeah,
that's where you're like, oh no, this is all bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no good here.
You saw the image of it all twisted sideways, and you're like, oh yeah, I mean, he's done for the year for sure. But then when they're like, oh yeah, they're getting the air cast, you're like, well, I mean, yeah. And then we're cutting the cleat off. It's like, oh, I mean, that's a little different, because usually like tearing something up, they do the air cast, but they don't necessarily mess with your cleat too much.
Right.
If they felt the need to like cut the thing off,
that means his foot was in a position where they couldn't even like pry the cleat off. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, there's no good here.
Yep.
There's no good news here, Tyreek. The good news is your cleat's getting cut off. That's your good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, pretty brutal. Watching it in real time, you're like, oh, because it was an awkward plant, and then you just saw the knee just buckle.
Yeah.
And then that second game last night, I had it on the radio last night because I was coaching soccer last night. On the way home, I had it on the radio. Yeah. Did it look as bad as the radio made it sound? Like, did it look like Cincinnati just quit?
So I didn't watch it in real time because I was watching the other game, and the NFL decided they wanted to overlap games, which is stupid. So thanks for that, NFL. If you're going to have prime time, put them in succession like you did a couple of weeks ago, so you can watch both games.
Especially East Coast, West Coast, it makes sense.
Yeah, like I don't know why they decided, oh, let's delay the start by an hour and make it a pain in the ass. But, cool, good on you. So I just score chased it. But, I mean, yeah, since he got destroyed in that game.
Because Kurt Warner made it sound – because Kurt Warner was just tearing into Cincinnati on the radio, basically saying, if you want to win, try to win. If you're going to play like this and you want to lose, just hand the ball off and run the clock out. Like, Kurt Warner was, like, basically saying that Cincinnati quit. Like, they didn't even want to be there. So I just want to know if it looked as bad as it sounded on the radio versus just maybe that was just Kurt Warner being Kurt Warner.
I watched the first half, and the first half looked like whatever. So the problem became like that Cincinnati couldn't do a damn thing. Yeah, they just couldn't.
So similar to Minnesota, just not as bad. Like where Minnesota forced the 5 turnovers, and at that point, Cincinnati knew they couldn't do anything.
I guess. Like I said, I didn't see the second half. I know it was 21-3. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a big one. And at that point, I was just hoping that I kept getting more fantasy points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it only ended up 28-3, so it's not like Denver did much.
Yeah, they only scored one more touchdown in the fourth quarter. So.
Yeah, but like Kurt Warner was just all on Zach Taylor, just basically being like, your team is quitting. Like, if you don't want to be here, just hand the ball off and don't waste everybody's time. I'm like, whoa, that's a pretty good gut punch from the analyst on the radio right there.
Yeah, I mean, Rob, them being a peewee O-line is how Burrow got hurt anyway. I mean, that just is their O-line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Kurt Warner also made another comment basically saying, like, obviously you've seen Jake Browning is not your answer. Like 2 games against the Vikings and the Broncos got completely shelled. He's like, you still have the talent to be a playoff team. Why are you not calling Kirk Cousins? Like Kurt Warner just like call Cousins. He's like, Browning is not your answer.
To be a playoff team. I mean, that's the thing is they're not good enough to be that. They don't have a defense. Their offensive line is Swiss cheese at best. They have a couple of fast receivers, and they're missing their star quarterback. So even if you go get Cousins, a less mobile guy than Browning, behind that offensive line, he's going to be there for 3 weeks before he's on IL?
Go get James. Go get James. At least James makes
sense.
Yeah, I think Browning. I think they had 100 total yards altogether. I think by that third quarter, if I remember right. When I was watching.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, if you went and got Jameis, at least he can move around a little bit, right? I mean, Cousins, you're just like, oh, cool. We're just trying to end his career. But if you go get Jameis, it'll at least be interesting losses, right? You're still losing, but it'll at least be kind of fun to watch. Right now, you're just like, man, this is a game I don't even need to turn on.
The Broncos had 512 yards of offense and had 29 first downs. The Bengals had 159 yards of offense and 9 first downs.
So he got 2 Ferraris sitting in your garage, and you can't use either one of them cars. They just sitting there looking pretty, but you can't do nothing with them. That's what I feel about Higgins and Chase. You got 2 Ferraris, but you can't do nothing with them.
Their total yardage was less than the Broncos' rushing yardage.
Yeah, it was.
Jake Browning, 14 of 25 for $125. Longest completion of the day was a 22-yard screen to Iosivas.
Yeah, Frankie, they wouldn't really be trying to pay him his money. Like that would still end up being on Atlanta. Yeah. Basically, they'd be giving up some draft picks is how they would go get him.
Jameis would cost about, I think, Jameis is on a $7 or $8 million contract this year, so he's not much.
Yeah, so for Jameis, they could just be like, hey, we'll take on the contract, whatever.
Here's a 7th round pick, and we'll take on the contract.
Yeah. Whereas with Cousins, they would need Atlanta to still pay most of that.
Yeah.
But
which makes sense for Atlanta to do if they were to do it, because this is the void year Cousins anyways, where after this year Atlanta can void that contract because it was only that 2 years guaranteed. So it's just like, well, you know what, we'll keep the money and it's off our books up for this year and you can figure it out.
He has $10 million guaranteed for next year, but
better than 30 some mil.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's a drop in the bucket. Like that doesn't matter. So, but yeah, so there's that. Here in the second half, let's go. Let's do the updated power ranking here. Not a ton of movement. I do have the Colts breaking into the top 10. Chargers slide a spot. Oh, the logo ended up sideways, but okay, whatever. That was how they fell.
Actually, I'm surprised that you have the Chargers only dropping 1 spot.
Yeah.
It.
And the Packers staying where they're at. Also,
I would have the Packers. I would have the Packers on the top 10.
Nah,
I would have had them at 10.
Yeah, I liked their tie. I liked better than San Fran's loss. So, yeah, obviously. Oh,
yeah, but the defense at 40 points is really where I make that.
The Niners didn't save either. What happened here? Huh. Well, so they played like the Vikings, and that's why they. That's funny. Yeah, no, for some reason, a couple of those got messed up while I saved it.
Hey, Stat Guy, that's what we feel about the Vikings. That's just how we feel about your team. We don't even care. We just throw the logo.
They played like shit this weekend. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a little congested down here at the bottom. So yeah, this week I think we'll see a little bit more movement.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these only didn't move enough or more just because the like a bunch of these teams lost, right? So, it kind of limited how much any of them would move because they kind of all would have moved together a little bit. Yeah. So I didn't have tons of movement back and forth. But yeah, that is funny that a couple of those logos didn't change. So, when you're up at 4 a.m. doing graphics, what do you do?
Take a speedball. No big deal.
Yeah, I'm not on your level, Jay.
You take a little bump, you keep going for the 24 hours. No big deal.
I just drink coffee. I'm not doing bumps to wake up.
Oh man, yeah.
I would still put the Eagles 1 just because of the schedule they've played so far, and they've actually had to go through like the Bucs. They've had to go through the Rams and then the Chiefs. So I'd put them 1, and I'd put the Lions 2. Like the Bills, yes, the Bills are undefeated, but they're kind of in a similar spot.
They got the 32nd.
Yep.
Yeah. They have the easiest schedule.
That's why I would. I mean, you have to beat obviously who your schedule gives you. Like if your schedule is easy at the start of the year, you still have to beat who's on your schedule. But that's kind of why I'd penalize the Bills a little bit, just because outside of the Ravens in week 1, they haven't had like a challenging game versus the Eagles. And pretty much, I mean, Dallas gave them a fighting in week 1, but the last 3 weeks for the Eagles have all been tough games. They haven't had an easy game really this year. And I think that Lions too, like I think the loss to the Packers was just more so week 1, new coordinators on both the offensive and defensive coordinators trying to figure out.
That was like preseason week, like Pags was talking about earlier. I believe it. I think they just got off to a slow start because it's interesting because ever since that Packers game, Detroit's gone up and Packers have kind of faded down.
I like Rams. I'd move to 4. Just because I mean their only loss is the Eagles. And again, they played the Eagles tough again and lost basically in a blocked field goal. Otherwise, they'd be a 4-0 team. So, like,
yeah, they lost in a spectacular fashion though, because they were beating them up in the first half.
Well,
so like,
I think we should rethink these power rankings, Bo. Let's just go ahead and take it off and
there's a reason why they are considered Bo's power rankings because they're not yours.
Exactly.
When you go ahead and get all your things fixed over there, so you could put all the little logos in properly. Then you could have your own power rankings there, Jay.
So the one team I would ask,
this is so we have this conversation, Jay. Do you not know how TV works? Like, what are we doing?
Hey, I just want to see Pags doing this number at the airport.
I mean, we already saw him trying to eat a burger earlier, so I mean,
the one team I would ask you about, Bo, and I would possibly replace the 49ers with it is maybe the Steelers. Just because the Steelers defense is starting to play a lot better than what they did earlier in the year. And if Aaron Rodgers even is a shell of what he was before getting to the Jets, Steelers have a quarterback and a defense good enough to make a deep run. They have a defense and a quarterback good enough to win a ton of games.
Well, and that's why I said that bottom spot is kind of congested because I was playing around with the Steelers also. I kind of want to see one more out of the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. But it's just like now it's just like this is kind of the way the Steelers want to play football, like 24-21 games where their defense, is going to keep teams right around 20. And now you have a quarterback that can just get you over that 20-point mark, unlike last year where they had a hard time even getting the 20. Now they have a quarterback that's like, 21 points, that's doable. As long as the defense gives up 20, we're good.
Yeah, and the Bills likely do slide, so that's definitely the case. I don't know about all that. They're like I like what we're seeing out of them, but I don't know if I'd go that far there, Rob.
Did you put the Colts in the top 10 based on because of how well they did play the Rams?
Correct.
Is that
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I didn't believe them as a 3-0 team, right? Because they hadn't beat anybody. But even though it was a loss, the way they lost, I was like, okay, like they're in this game, right? And there were a couple of bad plays from winning that game, honestly. Right. So I mean, it's if you don't end up with that fumble because dude wanted to switch hands right in front of the goal line for no reason, this is a very different game. So football is all about momentum. They turn the ball over a couple of times in really inopportune moments. So, I mean, they were on their way to score points.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know what Mitchell was thinking, because if he doesn't, because he wanted to showboat on his first NFL touchdown.
That's why he did it, is he wanted to be able to like hold the ball out or whatever. And instead, as soon as he did that, he lost the ball, goes out the back of the end zone, obviously touchback. So it's exactly. Colts should have beat the Rams. And so that was, in a loss, still showed me something that it's like, oh, okay, like this Colts team can actually beat teams.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of, wow, you beat up on the Panthers, which who cares? And
like your power rankings, like I think, like your power rankings, I think the top 9 are pretty much like set in stone. You can just like obviously just that number. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean they'll move around.
I said your power rankings. I think the top 9 are pretty much set. But just that number 10 spot is going to be like the debatable between like the Niners, the Steelers, a couple other like 3-1 teams, just how you view them. And I think the top 9 is through 4 weeks. I think those have been the most consistent 9 teams in the NFL through the first 9 games, maybe apart from the Packers.
Yeah, I would say probably more like the top 7 or 8. Because I mean, really, this next weekend of games is probably going to move around the number 8, 9, and 10. Just because, you got a lot of teams that are kind of equally spot. I mean, there were 4 different teams I could have put at that 10th spot that you could have made an argument for any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would bet that, the Chargers, if they show us anything like they did this week, I mean, they could be down there in that 10th, 11th spot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're getting to that spot where you're going to see quite a bit of movement. It's also why I don't do one for the first 2 weeks, because, in years past when teams actually played in preseason, I would do power rankings from week 1. But now, because people do what they do, teams do what they do, you can't even really effectively do a power ranking for week 1. I mean, you can, but like none of it's going to make any sense. So, but yeah, I would imagine this shuffles quite a bit for next week.
Did you see all that like projected winners for week 1 more than power rankings? Because like you ain't really established the power yet. So I think like, but
plus it takes time to make graphics and stuff.
Hey, no, it's a nice graphic though. It looks really well done.
Yeah. I mean, minus the logo's getting a little bit messed up.
I don't know. I wouldn't have a Raven as the guy here on the end.
I just didn't have time to change it this morning.
Okay, we'll leave it be then.
Yeah, because I was gonna switch.
I do like the Chargers with the Zeus Thunderbolt rather than the crest.
Well, no, I mean it was striking the ground because that's the direction they're headed. So
yeah, exactly. They're going down.
No, that was on purpose. The Viking one doesn't make any sense. So,
unless the Viking is peeking in on the 49ers at 10, trying to get into the power ranking.
You know what? It's actually the Scooby-Doo mask. They reveal it.
Oh, man.
Hey, can you put me down for the Colts for the suicide pick?
You know,
I was gonna get that out of the
actually,
way.
I have 2 there, so I'm gonna.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts this week as well. But I mean, it's Tuesday, so you guys don't have to.
What?
But you know, it's funny. I'm looking at the.
Can I buy a vowel and a couple more consonants?
The overall standings
It's just so sad. It's like watching an icon fall down from his crest.
Like for every team right now. And
Oh, gone.
String
All right.
started saying,
Hey,
I wonder. Let me ask you this question: can we, Bo? Since we're doing power rankings and things of that nature, which, by the way, again, great graphic. Can we do a top 10 streaming platforms power rankings? And I don't think StreamYard should be in there. I think they should be like an 11.
so this is obviously a sticking issue. You don't disappear because of StreamYard. Like that's a Wi-Fi problem.
Oh no.
Did you see the stat with Dan Campbell this morning?
Oh, what Dan do?
So how Bo was
No,
talking,
making graphics. Like,
how Bo was like talking earlier about like if like depending or not Bo but Pegs, like if your team's not in the playoffs, you kind of root for whatever fan base you want to win just because for whatever reason. That's kind of why I was rooting for the Lions last year after the Vikings lost because Lions fans have suffered for a very long time and they finally have like a legitimate franchise team where they can root for every year. If Dan Campbell wins at least 10 games this season.
computer died.
So if Dan Campbell wins at least 10 games this season, that would give him 50 wins all time as the Lions head coach.
Sure.
That would not only move him into second place all time in Lions history for the most wins in franchise history, but the 50 wins would be the same amount of wins that the Lions had from 2012 to the date he was hired in 2021.
Yeah, no. I mean, they've
Like,
been.
that shows you how much he has changed that franchise in just 4 years.
Well, I mean, when you think about the fact that until he got there, from their inception,
Mhm.
they have never had back-to-back double-digit winning seasons.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like,
Because they came in as the Lions directly in what 38. I think they were originally formed in like what 30,
34.
34.
Yeah.
So I mean, and even if you go back to that, they never had double-digit winning seasons back-to-back years. So I mean, just absolutely crazy.
Like, division rival or not, like, that's if Minnesota doesn't make the playoffs and the Lions do, like, that's the one team that I'm going to root for in the NFC just because of how long that fan base has suffered. Like, my team has never won a Super Bowl, so we've suffered enough too, but at least we can say that we've had double-digit win seasons frequently. We've made the playoffs frequently. We've made playoff runs frequently to get within the doorstep. The Lions really can't even say that.
You also haven't been around since 34.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, the Lions can't say that, though. Like, the Lions can't say, oh, we've had all these double-digit win seasons. We've had all these playoff appearances. Like, you had a near 24-year gap between 92 and when you made the playoffs with Stafford. And then you went, like, almost another 10 years before you got back to the playoffs. So, like, your fans have suffered long enough. Like, you deserve to have the success that they have right now with Dan Campbell. Like, they
honestly, I was really hoping that because – until all the injuries last year, you were looking at it like, oh, okay, this is that team. And then the entire defense got hurt. And you're just like, man. And they still looked amazing the whole year, even with like, used car salesmen out there playing defense. It's too bad because really when the year started and the way they were playing, you're just like, oh man, like this is their year. They might finally get a ring. And then, it derailed quick.
That if it would have been the Eagles and Lions in the NFC Championship game, that game would have been crazy.
Oh, it would have been awesome, especially if the Lions were full strength, right?
Like the atmosphere in Ford Field, everything. There's the atmosphere that place would have had for the NFC Championship game, having both those teams at full strength, knowing how good each defense was. Like, that place would have been nuts.
If there was ever a year where you're looking at a situation with what if, it was last year's Lions.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the way I feel like, when we started the show off, Pag started out with like, who would you root for if your team wasn't in it? And I think anybody whose team isn't in it, doesn't have skin in the game, it would be very easy to root for or want to root for the Lions to win a Super Bowl because, like you said, because of all that they've been through and how close they've come and just never have gotten there. I mean, if I would do it even just for Barry Sanders alone, I would love to see the
Barry
Lions.
Sanders, Kelvin Johnson, all those people.
It's funny because I actually used to look at the Bengals very similarly, right? Because it was just that team that just couldn't quite figure it out, and then they get to the Super Bowl with Burrow that first year, and you're just like, okay, like here we go. This looks good, right? It'd be kind of neat for them, and then they became annoying in ownership. Like the way they run that franchise, instead of like other fan bases, like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to see the Bengals do something. Now you're like, you deserve to lose,
right? you have your first franchise quarterback, and I'm not talking like Andy Dalton was a franchise quarterback, but like Joe Burrow is like your stable point of a franchise quarterback.
I mean, Carson Palmer was.
Yeah, like you have your first franchise quarterback since Carson Palmer and Joe Burrow, and yet you refuse to give the guy protection. Like you let him just go out and get killed every year.
I mean, that's fair.
Like, I don't understand how the Bengals can just sit there every single year and fail to address the two needs of that team. Fail to address the defense that can take the pressure off of Joe Burrow so he doesn't have to do anything, and fail to protect the guy that is your franchise. Because every year, besides the year that he went to the Super Bowl, he has gotten hurt because his offensive line gets him killed.
No, he starts in this league every other year. And since he had a hallmark year last year, you knew he was getting hurt. I talked about it all off season.
Yeah. So I guess next year we're gonna have a hallmark Joe Burrow.
But is it gonna matter next season because of the Bengals? If the Bengals continue to play the way they've played these first two games with Joe Burrow right now, you're looking at a team that might win 3 or 4 games this year. If they go 3-14, 4-13. That team's getting blown up in some aspect. T. Higgins is going to be gone. Like some of these pieces that they have now are going to be gone. So even a hallmark Joe Burrow season might not matter next year because they will. Especially
since the main piece of their defense is only under contract
for the rest of the season.
So
he'll be gone too.
He's gone.
Yeah. So like your hallmark Joe Burrow season next year might only result in like 5 or 6 wins because you will be entering a rebuild mode because of everything that you've done.
Yeah, we literally watched exactly what it would be last year. When you had a Triple Crown winning receiver and Joe Burrow had the best season of his career. Honestly, if it was a double-digit winning season, he wins the MVP going away.
Yeah. You can't start 1-4 every single year and expect to climb out of it every single year. At some point, starting 1-4 is going to kill you.
It's not a winning formula, and they just stick with it. In fact, they double down on it.
Yeah.
And,
This year they got away from it. They went 2-0 to start this year. This year they got away from the losing formula. But
that's not what I mean, though.
Oh, I know.
They double down on our defense gets worse every year, and we're going to focus on the offense, but not on a major component of the offense.
Great. You got two of the best. You got two of the best receivers in the league on your team, but the problem is you put all your nuts into 2 guys and don't have the quarterback, don't have the offensive line, defensive line, and all the other intangibles to go along with it. So even though you got 2 great Ferraris in your garage, you have a shitty garage.
And no gas. Because
gas.
But, I mean, the biggest thing is say you were going to spend the way they did, right? At that point, you better put a line in front of him because you have to outrun everybody, right? Like you have to score as many points as humanly possible. So you better build an amazing offensive line. Yeah. And unfortunately for them, no offensive line, no defense to speak of at all. So you have a couple of receivers, a quarterback, and a couple of tight ends. Well, that's great if you can keep a quarterback upright, which we've seen their inability to do. Yeah. And it's not unique to this year. It's literally been every other year of his career.
Yeah, that's why I never understood their methodology. Why am I gonna put all my money in my receivers but not do a damn thing with my offensive line? Because then I'm gonna get my quarterback hurt, which basically negates having the wide receivers in the first place because you can't use them because you don't have the other supporting cast members to get the ball to the wide receiver.
No, it's something that's
crazy to me.
it's something that made me mad here in Seattle for years is we'd never invest in the offensive line. And it's like, look, you can have all the skill players you want, but if your quarterback is under duress all the time, it doesn't matter because you can't get them the ball.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. Andrew Luck actually suffered with something very similar. Is he just got destroyed by an offensive line that was terrible.
And that is the one thing that I give Matthew Stafford a ton of credit for, because Matthew Stafford's early days in Detroit were kind of like what Joe Burrow is dealing with now, where you had Kelvin Johnson, you had offensive weapons, but you never had the offensive line or the defense to protect Stafford. Like Stafford got crushed in Detroit.
Yeah, his offensive line was better than
no, it was better, but it was still like they
defense.
didn't have a defense, so Stafford had to go out and try to put up 35 points per game. Like,
yeah, no, their defense was awful. Honestly, Kirk Cousins early in his career, very similar too.
Yeah,
Washington defense was awful. I mean, if you wanted a fantasy stat monster, Cousins, Stafford, you're like, these dudes are going to put up. I mean, they're going to throw for 4,000 yards.
Right.
They're going to put up a ton of touchdowns. But if you're a fan of the franchises, you're just like, yeah, but we're still going to lose every game.
Like the year that Cousins made the playoffs, his final year in Washington, I think Washington went 9-7 that year.
Yep.
Washington averaged 34 points per game on offense.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable.
And their defense allowed 35.
Yeah.
And they still won 9 games. Just like as a quarterback, you're scoring 31 points per game. Like all the Washington fan base was still hating on him because he had like 13 or 14 interceptions. I'm like, he has to score 31 points a game. Like, what more do you want your quarterback to do? He's going to be throwing 50, 60 times a game because he doesn't have a choice. Of course, there's going to be interceptions and turnovers mixed in there because that's all he can do.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I just wonder how long does Burrow give Cincinnati before he's like, man, I'm done with this franchise. I got to get out of here and resurrect my career or do something else.
Well, he still has another 2 years on his contract, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got 4.
Oh, he's got 4?
He just signed that 5-year extension last year.
Okay.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Yeah. So, it'd be
3 years left. He's got 3 years left after this year. He's got 4 years left counting this year.
Okay, so 3. I thought I'll have to look at it again because I thought he had a player option on it.
He might, but I mean, if I'm Cincinnati, if I have to choose between Chase and Burrow, I'm still choosing Burrow.
Sure, but that's not going to be who you're choosing. The guy you get rid of is T. Higgins, and his contract is actually, even though the number looks big, it is a little bit team friendly in their ability to get out of it. So,
well, that's what I said earlier.
I would imagine Higgins is gone in the next year or 2.
Well, I said that earlier. Like if Cincinnati does go 3-14 or 4-13, I think Higgins and Hutchinson are both gone this offseason.
Well,
Hutchinson for sure because he's a free agent, but I see Cincinnati trading Higgins and trying to get like some sort of draft capital to rebuild quicker because 3-14, 4-13, you're not going to have a choice because then you're going to be faced with the reality like, well, our best defensive player is going, so we still don't have a defense. And yes, we finally need to do something with this offensive line. So sorry, Higgins, but we need to get rid of you to help us.
Yeah, if you have the trio of guys that you paid and you go and you put up that kind of record, everyone gets fired.
Yeah.
I mean, GM should be fired anyway. Like, I don't know what the plan is there. They're like, yeah, we're going to pay 3 dudes and then just hope for the best. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But
that's
I mean,
exactly what they did.
And this is the first time that I'm not going to blame Zach Taylor for the team's downfall. Like, he's going to be the scapegoat just because
he gets fired.
Yeah, and he shouldn't, because what is he supposed to do when you don't have a defense, you don't have an offensive line, and Jake Browning is your backup quarterback? Like, you're only allowed to work with what you have, and he does not have an offensive line. He doesn't have a defense, so he's pretty much a lame duck right now. Like, yeah, I'm going to lose my job because the ownership and GM did not give me what I need to be successful after the starters go down.
The O-line play is so bad, Rob, that, I mean...
If you watched Cincinnati's O-line last night,
yeah,
a high school defensive front could have gotten to Jake Browning last night.
Yeah, there were things, like I was watching like clips, and there were moments that you were hoping the offensive line would just like fall down so people would trip over them, because that would be better block.
I think I might have watched the same clip that you watched. There was like 3 straight plays that they showed where all 5 linemen missed their blocking scheme.
No, that's what I mean.
Like
Like,
two of
it
them
was-
went to the right, two of them went to the left, and then the defense just comes right through the middle. It's like, how does everybody on the offensive line miss their assignment?
there were moments where it was a free release to the quarterback.
Yeah, it's like, how does everybody, like, I can understand one or two guys missing your assignment or missing the guy you're supposed to block, but how do all five guys miss their assignment?
No, and that I knew who you meant, Rob, and that's actually what we're talking about. When you have your D line and blitzing linebackers have free releases to the backfield, I don't care how dynamic of a running back you are,
You're screwed.
you're not going to do anything. Think about what it is here in Seattle is going to be a great example of this. Our offensive line has been atrocious for years. When you watched not only did we not have a running back make it through the season without hitting IR, but they were making their first broken tackles behind the line of scrimmage.
3 yards
Like,
behind
you're
the
2
line.
3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So even though you were getting back to the line of scrimmage, it's like, yeah, well, you already had to break a tackle to get there. So they're like, oh, he hasn't looked good as a running back. It's like, well, no, you haven't even been able to get up ahead of steam because you're breaking tackles to get to your line. So it's yeah, I mean, it's pretty. It's a sad state for them. That offensive line is garbage. Really, that whole staff needs to get let go. That being said, we are at the top of the hour. We will talk about some of the coaches that we think are potentially going to get fired tomorrow.
I won't say tomorrow, but
Well, no, I mean on tomorrow's show.
Oh.
We will talk. I don't know that any of them get fired tomorrow, though there's a couple of them that are really trying. That being said, we're going to get out of here. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to like and subscribe on whatever platform you are watching on. Otherwise, take it easy, everybody.